Voters in Portland are getting ready to hit the polls today. They'll decide whether or not some major changes to the school district will go through, including some big renovations costing tens of millions of dollars. Your reporter Anna Stansfield live from the polls here for us this morning. Anna, how much money are we talking about here?
Okay, good morning. If at least 20% of the voters in town come out today and approve this measure, the town would allow the district to spend $109 million on renovations across the district, which could also change where your child goes to school. Some of the biggest renovations in the proposed plan would be at Valley View Elementary School. Right now, the school serves pre-K through first grade. In the plan, it would expand to now also serve second graders. Next step would be renovations at Gildersleeve Elementary. Plans there would take the school from grades 2 through 4 to grades 3 through 5. Right now, the Brownstone Intermediate School houses 5th and 6th graders, but in this plan, the school would close and be repurposed by the town. That means 6th graders would move to the middle school, where improvements to the roof and heating and cooling systems are expected. Those renovations expected at the high school too. And polls will open here at the middle school in town at 6 o'clock this morning, and they'll remain open through 8 o'clock tonight. I'm your reporter live in Portland, Anna Stansfield, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.